made in terms of regulating medical cannabis in the state of California last year. With the leadership of two assembly people here in the room today, a diverse coalition of stakeholders came together from local government to law enforcement, the medical community, the industry, all sorts of different perspectives came together. And I'm relatively new to government relations work, but I'm confident this was one of the most complicated, challenging projects that I will work on in my entire career. So welcome to Sacramento, to the growers, and it's been a long time coming, and it's really an honor and a pleasure to have been welcomed into this community, particularly with these two offices, the assembly people and their staffs. The openness to learn about the industry, to learn about what had happened in the 2 decades of regulatory uncertainty on top of several decades of all-out prohibition, and to really dive into that and understand the issues and to craft thoughtful, compromise, solution-oriented policy is really commendable. And so I don't actually want to talk too much. I want to introduce Assemblymember Jim Wood and Assemblymember Rob Bonta, if you would. By way of introduction, I just want to say that my respect for these two men and their staffs it couldn't be greater. Like I said, the open minds and the open hearts in this conversation has been guided by the commitment to compromise, to collaboration, and ultimately to solutions to protect natural resources, to protect public safety, and to provide certainty and clarity for local government, law enforcement, and the business community is really what it takes to make this happen. And I am so interested to hear thoughts on 2016 and thoughts on 2015 and where we're going. So thank you both very much for coming. Thank all of you, and here you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you. Everybody enjoying Sacramento? Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. Sorry we couldn't bring better weather for you, but I just wanted to give a big thank you to all of you, because what we accomplished last year, we accomplished together. And make no mistake, in my view, thank you. In my view, it was historic. It was a watershed moment. It was a paradigmatic change. And it ushers in a new era for California. An era in which businesses in the medical cannabis industry can be full-fledged, legitimate businesses, come out of the shadows, have good, well-paying jobs, and create good jobs, and pay taxes in California, and be free of that gnawing feeling that's always been in the pit of your stomach of a raid or a bust. And so we did something special last year, and we did it together, and I'm very proud of that fact. It involved huge stakeholder input from so many across the state, throughout the different industries, folks who weren't always bedfellows, and created strange bedfellows, not always allies, not natural allies. We had our cities and our chiefs. We also had the industry, we had labor, all working together for a common goal. And to me, as someone who's going to be a legislator, hopefully, if the voters are supportive for up to 12 years, it shows what we can accomplish when we work together. This had been one of the most difficult problems in the state of California, and it hadn't been solved not for lack of trying, but for just lack of a successful effort. And things came together last year, and I just want to appreciate the growers, Hezekiah, Jason, for the attitude that you brought to this process of being solution-oriented, wanting to solve a problem, and knowing that you're a critical stakeholder, as you are, but not the only stakeholder, and that there are others whose voices needed to be in the room, and we needed to get their ideas on the table too. And so we worked through that process, and it wasn't easy, and it required thousands of hours, literally, to get through that process to a place where we are now. And I want to take this opportunity to thank a few special people. First, Maximilian Michelonis at my office. He's right there. He was joining his lunch in 266 and 243. In 643, the package of bills all together, and Anshu So. And I also want to thank my colleagues, of course, Dr. Wood, Mr. Reggie Jones-Sawyer, Mr. Cooley, Mr. Lackey. We all worked together, and we were all moved by different passions and interests, but we got it done together. And so that's what's absolutely important. And we're on day 4 of implementation of the new bill. And so I think it's important to just take an opportunity to appreciate the work that we've accomplished together, but also to appreciate the partnership, because there's more work to do. And we started that work today. We crossed the bill. It's numbered AB 1575. It seeks to make additional improvements and changes to help keeping the ball moving forward. While last year was a critical starting point, and we made huge progress, it wasn't an ending point. So there's more work to do. I'm excited to do that work with your partnership. None of this would have happened without you. So thank you, and look forward to continuing to work with you.
So that new bill, AB 1575, keeps the band together, right? Okay. So the band is together. So we're all going to be working together on this. So I want to say a couple of things which maybe, this is deeply personal to me. I live in Sonoma County. I represent Sonoma, Humboldt, Mendocino, Trinity, Del Norte County. It's a big deal to me. It is really, really important. So the opportunity to work with someone who doesn't live in a rural area, who has different issues, is really great. So Mr. Bonta has been an amazing partner here, will continue to be an amazing partner. He's going to bring a perspective that I don't have. I'm going to bring him a perspective that he's never dreamed of. And that's really, really important. So there are things ahead of you that are going to be interesting. I introduced today, I co-opted a bill. We had a member lead the legislature. There's a bill in the Senate. It's called AB 21. It's going to eliminate that frickin' March 1st deadline. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be fast-tracked as quickly as we can. And we have been working hard to try to communicate to people that that was an error, that was not our fault. We're doing everything we can to undo that, because I'm concerned that in the haste to reach that deadline, it makes it pretty darn easy for cities and counties to say, well, we're just going to ban it. And that's really not great public policy from my perspective. So public policy is thoughtful, is interactive, it looks at everything, and so we need to do that, and unfortunately that artificial deadline is a problem, so we're going to get rid of that. I think the other thing that to keep in mind is October 9th was the date the bills were signed, was the beginning and not the end of the process. So what's going to happen in the next 2 years? And I want to give a shout out, number one, CGA, the Growers Association here, amazing partners working forward here. Every hearing they were at, they have continued to be engaged on this issue and will continue to be engaged. But this is the beginning of the process, not the end. The regulatory process and how all of this is implemented and who represents that and how it's represented to the regulators, to the agencies, all of that is absolutely critical. So your involvement with CGA and making sure that that happens in the way that we intended it to happen is super critical. So that role, I can't underestimate and underrepresent how important that role is and how this all plays out. So we may be doing things across the street this year and making enhancements and refinements, but unless what we did this year in 2014, unless we get that right, it isn't going to matter. So it's really critical that you keep your eye on the ball, that you support your organization as they do this regulatory process, and really pay attention to what they're doing and give them your input. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for your support a long time. We have a lot of ways to go, and like it's good to hear the band is back together in AB 1575.
Well, thank you both very much. I think between the two of you hit the nail exactly on the head. We're just getting started, and we're going to do this together. And there's a few things that I just want to note about doing this together. Respect opinions that are different than yours, and disagree in a civil manner. Disagreement is healthy. It can help advance the best possible solutions. There are so many perspectives in this conversation. And so, since we're just past the new year, it's the first day of a new session, I was hoping we could raise our glasses or our hands in a toast, celebrate the process so far, celebrate the progress we've made together, and celebrate what we're going to continue together. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank both of you. Thank the entire legislature for the work on this issue. Let's solve problems. Thank you all very much.